It says excellent connection. Right. Right. How can I zoom out? No, I don't want to zoom in. That's it. Hello, user one. Oh my goodness me, I've got someone already. User one, how do you do? I'm just going to do the sharing bits. You know how it is. I should have it here. Where is it? There it is. Live now. Yay. I'm going to click like on my own video. Yeah, okay. I thought only real nerds click like on their own video, don't they? I've just done it. I've joined that club now. Okay, I'm just sharing it with Twitter. And now a Bookface. Hope everyone's all right. Okay, guys, I'm just I'll share it around the groups on Facebook. Do that now. Okay. Sharing. It's funny, Thomas Barden-Rees actually asked me to be on his show tonight, and I couldn't do it because I was doing this. I just popped over there to it, so I just popped over to put a few comments in there. And it wasn't just like, it wasn't a poaching expedition. I didn't say to people, oh, leave Thomas's live stream and come and join mine. I just thought I'd say hello to a few people. They're doing the same sort of topic as myself anyway, but they've got like two guests. They got Unwashed and Justine Brown. Anyway, gentlemen and ladies, good evening, Lisa. Hugo Rune, how are you? Not able to stay. You're expecting a friend. Well, Hugo, I'm glad you have a. I'm glad you got a friend calling. Hope you're all right, mate. Hello, Woody Black. Hello, Bernie Tucker. Hello, Alliance of Calgon. Della Farrant. Hello, Ben. I'm always pleased when my little alert sound means you've gone live rather than someone hassling me. Lol. I'm glad, Della. Yeah, I won't hassle you. I promise. Yeah, I just talk about interesting things like the Borley Rectory and things like that. Hello, Huge Arseholes. I'm glad you got notified anyway, Della, and Alliance of Calgon. Well done. John Fused, hello. One of 100 monkeys, hi. You know, it's great when you guys did get notified because a lot of people haven't been getting the notifications. John says, how's your boiler? I don't know. She's not come back from the shops yet. Oh, that was naughty, Ben. I don't. She's. No, it's. I don't know. It was off the other day, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. We had a bit of a central heating breakdown. Luckily, wasn't when we had all the cold weather the last couple of weeks. Hello, Rick. Hello, Ralph Winter, and yeah, that's great. It goes off on your phone. That's fantastic. I didn't know I was the sort of person whose those apps would work for. I just thought I was one of these people that, it's just you're just not allowed to. You're not a part of that, because you're not part of the in crowd on YouTube. Therefore, you're a naughty boy, and therefore are not. Oh my goodness me! Is it already? It's already gone onto the. My goodness me! I don't believe it. It's already gone onto the featured page as well. I'm just going to check that that's actually working because that's something else that sounds too good to be true. That YouTube would actually be that user friendly. Customize channel. Featured content. I might actually leave the trailer up. I mean, it says it's the trailer now on the channel, but the channel has live end of lockdown live stream. The channel customization says I'm still using the notice. I'll probably leave the notice there because, of course, I'm doing the other live stream tomorrow, aren't I? Anyway, guys, I want to say hello to Charles from Project Camelot. Pride and effing dignity. Nice one. Soshi Klimenko. I can read Russian. Because I'm learning Russian, of course, as you know. And the first thing you do is learn how to read it. Blue Wool, hey Blue Wool, how you doing? Kolbahar, I hope all's well in alien autopsy land. Hi Ben, I just tested positive again for the C word. Oh well, more books, videos, and shows to catch up with. Hey, that's one of the benefits of it, I suppose. If you, at least now we have those sorts of things we can do. Make the most of your free time, mate. It's only 5 days now, isn't it? So now Zastream, how you doing? And Alliance, what's the stream tomorrow? Well, if you check out the notice, you'll see it's all about the Ukraine situation. Actually, we've got someone with the Ukrainian name. Kiamenko is actually is Ukrainian, I believe. I think that's a Ukrainian name, and they're in chat right now. So maybe they'd like to come back. Maybe I'm not. Don't go away, Kashia. Don't go away. Sorry, Soshia. I think that's right, Soshia. Gdzie mój velociped? I'm learning Russian, you see. There's a reason why I'm learning it. I'm actually learning it because I might have to go and live there one day. In fact, we all might have to go and live there one day. It could be the only country it will actually be safe for us to live in. Lisa says here, tests are BS, just ignore and live your life. Don't test. Well, Lisa, yeah. Well done. I would go along with that, although Blue Wool might have he might have been sort of pushed into a corner on that. I don't know. Blue Wool can tell me if he wants, he can tell the situation about how he ended up getting tested. They know that they're nasty anyway. Araminta Mooncrow, hello from Wales. Hi Ben, hoping to meet you one day, even if I have to stand for an election to get rid of Drakeford. Well, Araminta, I am, of course. My appearance at the Swansea UFO Network has been put back for another month, thanks to Mark Longshanks. Herr Drakeford! He is, even though I'll be going through actually what has changed in Wales, as well as the other countries in the Union, because England is not the only country that's changed, although England at the moment is the only place at the moment where you're free, but, there's a lot to be said about that, because it may not be as simple as it seems. And Woody Black says the tests aren't accurate, you might as well toss a coin. Well, this is why normally when they do viral screenings, they give you 2, and also they don't just stick thing up your nose. Jeff Sperry, hello, working my way through your back catalogue, Ben, learning new things every day. Jeff, thank you very much for joining the channel, and there's an awful lot there. I've been doing this since 2007, I think. Blue Wolf says, I was feeling a bit unwell today. I fully expect to recover. As per August. Took 5 days last time. Well, I hope you feel better soon, Col. I really do. I really do. I look forward to our little trip. Make sure you're well for June. That's the main thing, because we're going up to Blackpool, aren't we? I personally don't take these damn tests. I'm not obliged to, professionally. So I won't take one. Cosmic Claire, hey Claire, how you doing? Pigso said, I watched your comments reply video. Someone suggested the MH370 video. I think they'll be cool. So much developments recently. It's creepy. In fact, I have some ideas for several new videos that I've neglected, actually. And, yeah, it's probably a good idea maybe to do a live stream about that. Also, there's another very, very important anniversary that passed me by. Can any of you guess what very important anniversary has just gone, which I missed? Post it in chat, because I'm curious to know if any of you actually know. Williamism, hello, Highlands Freedom. I hope so, mate. Get rid of that big fish sturgeon. Honestly, she's bloody awful. Charles says, rubbish, Ben. You just like Smirnoff. I do, yes. I do. And it's very cheap. It's very, very cheap in Russia. Yes. Yeah, so apparently a bottle of vodka is cheaper than a pound of pears. Or at least it used to be in the Soviet days. It may have changed now. Lisa says it's winter. We get colds and flu I've had before Crimno. Fine now. No tests or anything else. Still very much alive and kicking. I know, Lisa, you did get over it quickly, and I'm glad. I hope you're all right now. Williamism says small towns in England. Yeah, small towns in England. I mean, a lot of them are just ignoring this, and that's how it should be. I think Mahatma Gandhi was right. He said that the village is the fortress of culture, and I think he's right. Charles says he's also been doing Agent Rin that long. Well, if you check out Agent Rin's channel, I did a video with her the other day, which is good. Williamism says the H word, which I can't say on YouTube, and you may have seen what I posted on. I posted a meme on Facebook and Twitter that hardly anyone saw, but I thought was a very good one. It had a picture of all the white crosses on the hills in South Africa for the farm murders, and I said on Holocaust Memorial Day, it's not just the past, it's the present. Yeah, and it hasn't been banned, it hasn't been deleted, but not many people have seen it because, of course, it is politically incorrect to say that. Claire, I'm glad you're all right now. You know, when people go quiet on social media, I'm glad you're okay, because when people go quiet on social media these days, I tend to fear the worst. I tend to fear the worst. Any idea what the anniversary is, guys? Roswell? No, John, that's July. Roswell is July, and the decade for Roswell, the last one was the 70th in 2017, July the 8th, 1947. Good guess, but out by several years and a few months. Keep trying. But Claire, you know, I do fear the worst when people go quiet on social media, because I think over the last 10 months or so I have been mugged by reality when it comes to mortality. Yeah, you know how many people I've lost? It's 4 in the last 10 months of people close to me I've lost within our community. Kev Baker, the most recent. It's the algorithm Williamism. Maybe that's it, yeah. Anyway, it's if you go to my timeline, you'll see it. You'll see the picture. I posted it there last night. Technically, that wasn't a Holocaust Memorial Day in my time zone. It was just after. Peakso, no, not Bloody Sunday. It's close on, though, isn't it? Thanks for letting us know, Claire. Yeah, we were worried about you. But, yeah. Lisa says, I walked past my local COVID testing centre shop today in the precinct. Totally empty apart from 5 staff members. Still sitting down, looking bored as F. Yeah. So they bloody should be. Who would even want a job like that? But they do. People will apply for these jobs. Just before I came online, I watched a video that Lisa sent me. There's a bunch of buskers in a city centre playing music. No one harming nobody, and these suited goons from the council came along and tried to get rid of them, and they played this brilliant defiant song. It was a wonderful humanity beats bureaucracy moment. I mean, who would apply for a job to go around wearing a suit and carrying a clipboard and going around telling people just having fun they've got to stop? But of course they do, don't they? Now, so you can't think of anyone else got any idea what the anniversary is? And if you can't, I will tell you. I'll tell you what the anniversary is. Anybody? No, I don't think you do. All right, I'll give you a couple more minutes to guess, and then I'm going to tell you. But I'm thinking of a live stream about it. It's a very, very important moment, I think. But obviously, this weekend I'm doing 2 live streams. In a camper you are, William. You're in a camper in Glastonbury. I thought you were in Scotland. Epstein's death. When did Epstein die? Oh, sorry, when he. Woody Black, give us a clue. All right, it's UFO related. Epstein, yeah. When did he hang himself? I think, are you allowed to say otherwise on YouTube? Charles, who would do a job being miserable all the time? Richard D. Hall comes to mind. He's certainly miserable enough, but I think he would. He does have enough of a sense of decency not to do something like that. I think. Yeah. Oh, right. There's more guesses coming in. All right, I'm going to tell you. It's the Battle of Los Angeles, which took place actually on the night of the 24th of January, which is... We passed it, actually. It was Monday. No, it's actually... the Battle of Los Angeles, 1942. It's the 80th anniversary. How do you guys think about doing a live stream for that? I think it should be marked the way the Pearl Harbor one was. William he still drinks with Andy. I mean, this idea that he's still alive. Yeah. All right, Lisa says he does have a good sense of humour. Unfair comments. All right, Lisa. Maybe if I'm being unfair to him, I'm sorry, but he does. He seems to have been less funny than he used to be. Blue. Well, no. Battle of Los Angeles. There may be a bit of a delay on the comments coming through. Yep. It's a very. I won't talk about it now. Basically, it's a major UFO event that took place in Los Angeles, USA. And this is long before like the UFOs became popular. And on MH370, right you are. We'll have to do it one at a time, I think, Pete. So, anyway, what's been happening in the world? Yeah, we've all been less fun than we used to be. That's right. And I did say that Richard wouldn't stoop to do something like that. That's beneath him. He would never. He would consider that immoral. I mean, I'm sure he would. Oh, yeah. And Charles is completely brought about by rookies who didn't know how to read radar readings. Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I think Steve Mumbling is transmitting telepathic messages to Charles to pass over. Yeah. I think we're going to just, yeah. Look at this. Of course, Bedouin, next year is it next year? Next year. No, 2024. It's the 50th of Bedouin, isn't it, Blue Wall? Are we going to do what we did last time and head up and spend the night up on the mountainside in 2 years' time? Shall we do that? Okay, stop watching Josh Sigurdsson on World Alternative Media. Oh, right. I don't follow him very closely. I've heard of him. Anyway, here we go. Right, anyway, what's been happening? Taiwan. Williamism says, watch Taiwan. Well, Taiwan is among a series of countries. It's just included the Netherlands. It's just been announced the Netherlands is included, that have ended their lockdown restrictions. Now, what's going on here, guys? What's happening? I'd love to know what you think is going on right now. Williamson says, watch Brazil. Oh, yeah, is that the film or the country? Because both are very good. Yeah, where's Steve Mumbling? Come on, Steve Mumbling. What's it where he lives? It's about 5 in the morning, probably, where he lives. Come on, Steve. You're bloody retired. Get out of your bed now. Come on, join us. He did. Steve Mumbling actually was awake once during one of these live streams, but he didn't post. The country, right you are, Brazil. Greg H is gearing up for climate lockdowns. Now, this is an important point. Are they changing their mind? Is this a change of strategy? What's going on here? What's happening? What do you reckon, guys, is going on? Be interested to get your side of the story. So give us a point. Araminta says, any thoughts on the Hunga Tonga volcano, Ben? It exploded with huge force. They're talking about, the size of a large nuclear weapon, apparently. It may have an effect on climate, which the thing is, if you get it maybe got cold for a couple of years now, because volcanoes can affect the entire world, or the world climate. Giving orders to Steve Mumbling? Only someone with an IQ smaller than their shoe size would do such a thing. Woody Black, they have to admit it's bollocks, yeah. It's just, there's several possibilities that I'm looking into. One, there's good possibilities and bad possibilities. The good possibility is that this is literally an emergency stop. There's two frames of the kind of good possibilities we're talking about here. There's two frames here. Claire, we're going to talk Ukraine tomorrow because I'm doing a whole live stream about that. Yeah. The emergency stop possibility has two phrases. One is very good and one is just good. The good one is that this is an emergency stop, and they basically said this is not working. What are we going to do? And they panicked and they've just called a halt to everything. The Illuminati don't normally do things like that. Normally, they always try to find some way of slipping out of whatever situation they're in. So, for example, the government are currently discussing about whether they're going to change their mind on the NHS restrictions, that is, forced V-word mandates for NHS employees. Now, what they mean by changing their mind is that there's been so much resistance, up to 200,000, they'd have to get rid of about 200,000 people. And Lisa says very well, I still feel, Lisa's right, I still feel the only real thing we're fighting here is ourselves, because we allowed our power to be taken away. We gave it away for an apparent easier life, but one that will never be so. Exactly, Lisa. Exactly. This is a major learning experience for people. The 200,000 people currently in the NHS who are saying they're not having it. Now, the government have realised if they get rid of 200,000 people, that's a massive amount. That's a large town of people being kicked out of their jobs. It can't be done. It's impossible politically. It's impossible. They wouldn't be able to sell it properly, and the NHS is short-staffed enough as it is. And Colin says there's something big's going to happen in February. I think Simon Park said something about that. This is the thing. It could be that. I mean, it could be that they've just broke to a halt and they've just said, "Oh my God, this isn't going to work. Oh, what are we going to do?" Normally, you see, they'd normally do what they did with the NHS. They'd say, "We're reconsidering the V-word mandates for NHS staff. We're not backing down. You understand? We're not pressured. This is completely our own decision, and we just think maybe we've weighed up the pros and cons, and we've decided maybe it's not necessary. Maybe it's not just it's maybe just not necessary." Hello, Brian. How are you? Claire says there'll be a Delvoye variant and an Omigod. There are already 2 new variants, or scariants as I call them. There's one called I Hate You, which comes from France, which apparently stands for I Hump You. That's what they're saying. And there's another one that's just been merged again in South Africa. But latest things is that they're actually the same as the moronic. They're very mild symptoms. Pixo says maybe then of course they're not going to give up and go away. They're going to try something else, but it could be this is an emergency stop. And the thing is, this emergency stop is one which they can't really disguise as anything other than it is. Charles says, "No, it's because the world economy is buggered." Yeah, well, it has been buggered, hasn't it, by this agenda? Budman is asking about Capel Green. It's still on the cards. All right, it's still on the cards. That's all I can say. But hello, Jackie. How you doing? There is a possibility to do with Boris. Now, I've said this in my article about Boris, because Boris, of course, is an absolute disgrace. Now, I'm sure he's not the only one who had a party during 2020. Do you think that Justine Castro, or Justin Trudeau as he's called, sat around singing carols with his family on Skype? Do you think Kamala Harris did it? Do you think soy boy Macron in France did it? Of course not. They all break their own. They all break their own rules. They're all hypocrites, right? The thing is, Boris is the only one being taken to task for it. If you're going to get into politics, you have to be whiter than white. You have to resist the temptation. Hello, body technician. How are you? You have to resist the temptation of the continuous temptations being poured in front of you all the time to abuse your authority, to become corrupt. You have to resist those temptations if you're going to get into politics. The thing is, if you do that, Caroline Stevens actually made this point. If you do that, then you don't go very far. You probably the higher ups won't let you in because they got nothing on you. They've got no dirt on you. They can't break you because they can't blackmail you because you're too good. It's like in that book I read. I read a book called, what's it called? Hello, Greg. How are you? Greg H. They need to break the West in order to usher in the reset. Correct. Yeah, exactly, Lisa. You see, this is the point that Caroline made. Whiter than white. No, just so. And Boris will survive, will he, Claire? Oh dear, that's what the mainstream media are now saying. We'll see about that. Frank Trigg says, end of the lockdown, end of fascism, beginning of common sense. Do you really believe in common sense among the oligarchs? Yeah, well, you know, Frank, that's the question we're going to talk about right now. Is Boris, you see, I did ask in my article, is it, you know, I'm off the Boris train totally. You know, he had an opportunity which he squandered. He could have been Britain's Trump. He could have been Britain's Putin. He squandered it. And he just merged seamlessly back. Well, I don't know, back. He merged seamlessly with the global elite. Hi, Legend Real. Hello, Diego Rivera. How do you doing? Welcome. And as Lisa says, we're suffering far, far less than some other countries. Yeah, there's no sign of the lockdown ending in all the major ones, that all the really heavy ones. That is Australia, Austria, Germany, New Zealand. I mean, they said that the Australian government said they were reconsidering, but reconsidering means nothing. It is the middle of summer in Australia too. But they're still just we're just reconsidering the restrictions. But as Mark Devlin said in his speech, you know, these freedoms are not theirs to take and give away as they choose. They weren't put in place. These civil rights were not put in place for the government to just withdraw them when they feel like to make us do things. The question is it too late for Boris to turn back from the dark side? I said this. I was on Jeremy Poole's show the other night, and I brought this point up. Is it too late? That's the question. Body technician says, I'm not V-worded and my partner is. We came into contact with someone who tested positive for the C word. Well, body, it'll be interesting to see which one of you gets ill. You consider yourself part of a live experiment. So, is it too late? Hello, Alex Ritchie. How you doing? G'day. And Greg H said he was never away from the dark side. Well, Greg, that's where I differ from you. I think he was. But he as I said, he just merged seamlessly with the global elite. He gave away everything. He threw everything away and just became one of them. And now he's paying the price. Now he realizes he's not going to get any gratitude. They will throw him to the wolves if he's no longer useful to them. Indeed, they have. This is why he's in trouble. He probably thought, well, everyone else is doing it. We're all breaking our own rules because we're politicians and we can get away with it and we don't care. We're hypocrites. Oh, so why am I being singled out? Duh, Boris. That's what they do when they want to get rid of people. They single you out. That's why they singled out Epstein, didn't they? And Prince Andrew. They've just decided that, you see, the moment you become a liability to them, they'll just say, "I'll get rid of them." Oh, good luck, body technician. Sorry about your predicament. Yeah, I mean, well, you don't have to tell us. But Lisa's pointed out something very interesting. I won't repeat it, but you know, do you have discussions about this subject? You don't have to answer. You know. Frank Trigg says Boris started from the dark side after shagging that pig for the Bullingdon Boys Club. Yeah, he was in the Bullingdon Club, and I've already talked about how awful they are. And Claire says the prop troubled him. He's weak and a coward. He only leaned to Trump. Yeah. Yeah. I think he's regretting it now. The question is, can he turn away from the dark side? Can he do a Darth Vader, like in Return of the Jedi? Is he going to when Bill Gates is trying to kill us like the Emperor did Luke Skywalker with his bolts of lightning from his hand, right? Is he going to turn away from the dark side and throw Bill Gates down the chasm? Is he going to pick him up, going no, and throw Bill Gates into the chamber, and Bill will go, "Oh, but Boris, I supported you." Ah. Is that going to happen? You see, it may be too late for him. He may have gone too far down the rabbit hole. Real life is not like a movie. Hello, Andy Young. How you doing? Is in the movies, of course, the bad guy redeems himself. He comes back. But in real life, you can go down a rabbit hole so far, and you're too deep down really to get out. But the ideal situation here would be that Boris has decided to go back, to return to the light side, and this is why he stopped the lockdown. I think it's very unlikely. Very unlikely. That's wishful thinking on my part, big time. And Greg H says Boris has played his part. His successor is waiting in the wings. You know the really galling thing about this whole business with Boris is that even though he's shown himself unfit for leadership, the only people who could possibly replace him are even worse. Araminta says Boris was always global elite. I don't think he was. I think he really was a populist, a genuine populist. Oh, I'm fine, thanks, Andy. Hello, Mr. Grey Owl. How are you? The question is, if this is, I think it's far more likely. The fact that the pattern you see, which Boris has done, stopping the live stream or at least suspending it, I think it's probably more likely to be a suspension in the worst case scenario. The reason he's doing it is the fact that he's done that now is a pattern that's repeated across the world. So, is there this major breakdown in the agenda, and people now, and maybe the people it could be that the world leaders are refusing to take orders anymore, or maybe there's some disagreement among the Illuminati. Whatever it is, it looks like they're in trouble. It looks like they're in big trouble. Alternatively, that's a good scenario. The bad scenario is that this is the lifting of restrictions is part of the plan. It is simply just a stage in this. It's stage in the longer-term lockdown agenda. Now, I was looking at Joost Merlo. I mean, it's actually Trevor on Third Rail Radio. He put me in touch with this. He actually showed me in fact, I think we discussed it on the previous Third Rail. By the way, the Third Rail Radio, the most recent one we've done, is Lisa says truckers fighting back. Thoughts? Oh, Lisa. Where do I start? I'm overjoyed. I mean, it's good you brought this up now, Lisa, because we discussed this in detail in Wednesday's Third Rail Radio. The Third Rail show I did with Trevor on Wednesday. It's 2 hours long. It must got to be the best one we've ever done. And I bring up Joost Merlo. Now, Joost Merlo was a Dutch guy who he has a book called The Rape of the Mind. He analyzes, for example, mass psychology in totalitarian regimes, and he said that what totalitarian regimes do to their people is the equivalent of torture. Now, when you torture, you don't just subject people continuously to the torture. You give them a couple of minutes off. It's like, for example, if you're waterboarding somebody, which is the kind of torture is most commonly used today. Hello, David. How are you? You don't just pour water continuously over their face. You let them. You sort of pull it away. You let them breathe and say, right, are you going to talk or are you going to comply? Just for a minute, you let them breathe openly, and then you put the cloth back on and start waterboarding them again. You start pouring the water on again. So you give them little breaks. You subject them to pain, and it's like a agony, and then a relief. Agony, relief. You go through this cycle, and that's how you do it. And Alex, this is interesting. Switzerland, according to Alex Ritchie, has just begun easing restrictions too, amid the moronic thing. Time has come. The time has come, said Federal Councillor Alan Bursett. Now, Switzerland has a very unique form of government. There's no single president or anything like that. There's a council, there's a community. And they have continuous referendums on everything. Diazepam, manufacturer of Welsh sleeping pills, says they're still building the C-word camps. Yeah, easing off to turn the screw again. Well, that is that's what I'm afraid of. How you doing, David? Glad you're with us. That's what I'm afraid of. That's the worst case scenario, is that this is simply we're getting a couple of weeks off. I mean, this happened last year, didn't it? Well, they eased it for a couple of months and they brought it back again. Although I did think it's interesting they're doing it now, because I thought also the ending of the lockdowns last year was not an international effort. It happened at different times in different countries. This is different. This is an international policy that is suddenly being enacted in the middle of winter. Mr. Grey Owl says Castro gave a really weak speech about how the truckers represent a fringe group of people that aren't real Canadians. Oh, goodness me. Why doesn't he go and quiver under his bed again? Oh, dear. Oh, he's horrible, Trudeau, isn't he? He really is. Rick, a continuous exercise in mass confusion. Rick, you've been watching Merlot as well, haven't you? That video about Merlot. I'll see if I can find it, actually. Let's just see if it's in my history. Because this was a very important thing that I watched with Trevor. Nothing? Okay, let's have a look. Right, yeah, Yost Merlot. Oh, it's just, that was some, okay. What's this? Is this it? The mass formation psychosis. Hang on. Trevor sent it me. It's very interesting. I'm determined to find it for you guys because it's such an interesting video. So I'm just going to go to look at Trevor Murray's Facebook at the moment. Just won't be a sec, guys. Right. Okay, just gonna. Won't be a sec, guys. Is this it? How bad? No, not that. Trevor's been really good. He's been following the truckers thing. He's going to get some like pictures from the truckers. Oh, I can't find it. Unless this is it. No, it's not. No, not this.
Train robberies have
No. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to give up on that. I have to give up. I'm sorry. I don't want to waste your time on the live stream. Anyway, guys, how are you all? Let's go back and pick up any. Let's go back and pick up anything. Keir Starmer is even worse. Yes, definitely. Keir Starmer was covered up Jimmy Savile. That's a long story behind that, but he did. He was Attorney General. He could have done something about it. Claire says the elites don't always get their way. Indeed, they don't. Woody Black says they're lulling us into a false sense of security. Yep, that's all part of the mind game they play. Do you know what? There's a really good video by... I can't post a link because it's banned on YouTube. But Computing Forever, Dave Cullen. It's on his BitChute and Odyssey channels. And it's called Is This Too Good to Be True? I'd love to be able to review it for you. But the bastards on YouTube won't. They'll just ban this live stream. Motherfuckers, honestly. Yeah, but it's the art of control. They have to ease off it if they... Says Mr. Grey Owl. They have to ease off if they think they will push us too far when we may rise up. Yeah, and then they put the squeeze back on again, don't they? That's what they do, yeah. Charles says the aviation industry has more influence than you think, Ben. They won't let themselves go bankrupt. I hope so, Charles. I really do, yeah. There are 4 lights. Hello. Welsh in China here. My goodness me, that's quite a mixture. I've not felt the nonsense as bad as my countrymen, I can tell you that. Yeah, I mean, it's ironic, isn't it? China's where it came from, apparently, yeah. It's a C word, a natural disaster, about a natural disaster. It may well be climate change. It may well be that. You see, this is another possibility we've got to think about. This is a controlled... Where we are now. Mr. Gray, if they back off and give a little, though, it can take the wind out of the sails of the masses. That could be what they're doing, yeah. Diego Rivera, the Tonga eruption looked man-made. In what way? Because we had this discussion before about the Canary Islands, didn't we? We did a live stream about it, didn't we? Mr. Growl, in 1984, the only thing that scares those in power is an assembled unity of the serfs. Hello, Ped. How you doing? Welcome. Turgo is such a soy boy. He makes Johnson look hard. He's one of the most effeminate men in the world. He really is. He's slimy and disgusting. He really is. Cliff High has been pretty accurate on this, says Claire. He says the narrative was already starting to unravel late last year and it would fall apart by the new year. It'll get more chaotic. If it is, then that's good, Claire. It means that this is an uncontrolled situation for them. Alliance of Calgon, I've got an Odyssey account. Lisa says, some say the trucker stuff is a psyop. Oh, goodness me. To bring about food scarcity. It is not. It is not a psyop. Look at the background. Look at the background to it, yeah. Frank Trick says, I get away with playing banned videos on my live stream and have no narcs grassing up to my followers. All right. Barney brought a dildo. Hello, Barney. Should I have a poo? I've got no idea. Why are you asking me? Mr. Grayhouse says, with Biden, though, I don't think the rad left will give that little bit of reprieve so long as they're going down. Oh, they've gone off. Oh, they've abandoned Biden. Now, well, Biden basically has abandoned them because they're no longer useful to him. Alex, you brought up a good subject, which I'm going to come back to. Was the Tonga eruption a massive blow of an underground base, Lisa? I hope so, obviously. But Woody Black and Alex, I'm going to come back to that subject because you raised an important point. Alex says there's a video showing a rocket firing into the sea of the Tonga blast. I'd be interested to see that, yeah. But Claire and Lisa, I agree, it's not a psyop. No, I don't think it's a psyop. Alliance, I'm on Odyssey. You can find me there. Same name, Ben the JR Porter. I didn't realise that people didn't know. Hello, number one fan. How you doing? Barney, are there better platforms for streaming? Well, I should try. Probably not technically, but I should do. I should do experimental live streams actually on other sites because I know that on Odyssey you can live stream now. Well, I'll look into that thing with the missile. Then I will look into that. Anyway, another possibility. I'm just going back to my notes here. Yeah, gaps between attacks in systemized torture. Yeah. That's what it could be. It could simply be a lull before they push our head underwater again. Or they put the electricity on again, you know? It's like with 1984. With Winston, O'Brien stops he switches off the electricity and he says, how many fingers am I holding up, Winston? How many fingers am I holding up? And he does that every so often, and when Winston says 4, O'Brien puts the electricity on again, and hurts him again. That could be it. Or is this literally? Oh, how are we doing now? Thanks for sub. If you sub to me, Calgon, that'd be great, mate. Thanks. Body says, sorry to divert the subject. I wondered, have you done a show on Kev Baker? There were some questions I have to ask about him. I have, Body. Yes, I've done a show. I did a show specially about Kev. I also did a special show last night on Padmo Radio about him. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks. Yeah, Lisa was in chat. That's right. Well, the blast of the Tonga volcano apparently was the size of a large nuclear weapon. It was very big. But Claire says, Richard Best, hello. Thought on NASA hiring clergy and scholars to study the human relations to life on other planets. Maybe that's a good topic for the because I'll make it a live stream about the. Should I make it a live stream about the Battle of Los Angeles? Yeah. Diego Rivera says predict the next Illuminati scam. That's the point, isn't it? Yeah. Woody says Ramsey Paul used to do half a stream on YouTube and tell everyone to switch to Odyssey about spicy topics. That's kind of what I do, don't I? I put up the notice. Alt Tech exclusive. Hello, David. Another David. Hello, how are you? Frank Triggs, yeah, we've done an entire live stream about the La Palma volcano. Do check it out. Another possibility. This is a hard stop for the lockdown. Either it was planned in advance, which is probably unlikely because it's happening so suddenly. What I think has happened is, and I think this is the most likely thing, and is that they're starting a new strategy, but they brought it forward. They were probably going to let it go for another year or so, the C word, and then they were going to stop it and bring in a new strategy. So probably I reckon probably by the autumn we'd have been hearing the serious end of the C word crisis, but what is they brought the end of that crisis forward, and they've done it suddenly. This is it's an international effort, and they're suddenly ending the C word crisis. But what they replacing it with? Now, this even though this is an uncontrolled event from their point of view, this is obviously I think it's a very, very sudden decision they've made. They probably made it sometime around the new year. They're going to replace it with something else, just like they were going to do in the autumn, but they brought it forward. Now, what's it likely to be? I think that probably the most likely is food shortages. There's already a big scandal over ships not being able to dock in Los Angeles, one of the biggest port in the United States. What do you guys think about food shortages? Because there seem to be several messages sort of setting us up for it. Thanks, number one. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thanks. Jock of Ages, good evening. Jock of Ages, you didn't get the... Excuse me. You didn't get the notification. Oh dear. Charles says it wasn't a battle because no one fired back. That's right. We'll talk about that because that's right. It's a battle is the word that was used, but it was wrong. So welcome all of you. Welcome, Jock of Ages. So what's your thought? Yes. What's your thought about food shortages, engineered food shortages? I mean, they're already talking. There already has been food shortages during the last lockdown, toilet paper shortages and things. But what I've got a feeling, it'll probably food scarcity this year. It'll probably begin in the spring, and they'll come up with all kinds of excuses for it. As Frank says, shortages will be manufactured. Exactly. They'll blame it on bad weather, the lockdown that just ended. They'll say it's the lingering effects of the lockdown. It'll be what else could it be? Probably labor shortage or strikes or something like that. Or what's the last one they did? Oh, they actually said it was to do. Oh, lorry drivers. Yes, they'll blame the lorry drivers. In fact, Reverend Simon Sideways actually did a video about that, talking about this. Hello, Celtic Cousin. Good to hear you too. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. I think that's the most likely thing. They'll blame lorry drivers. Now, Reverend Simon Sideways is, well, we call them lorry drivers in Britain, but he's a trucker. If he was Canadian, he'd be called a trucker, and I know where he'd be. He'd be on the bloody convoy. He's not actually a man of the cloth, even though he called himself Reverend. That's just his name. Alliance of Calgon says playing with the food supply could easily backfire. Well, that's what I hope, Alliance. Indeed, the C word has backfired badly, isn't it? I mean, essentially, ever since 2016 has happened, and I believe everything we're going through now is a reaction to 2016. Everything that's happened, they've essentially sowed the seeds of their own destruction, the Illuminati, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, because they have exposed themselves. They've decided to go double or quits and expose themselves, and unfortunately it's going to be quits for them. It's worth. Jock of Ages says I've got a cupboard full of noodles. Yeah, I'm not like a prepper, but it's maybe it's something to think about. I don't like the idea of prepping because prepping implies that something's happening which is inevitable. I think if I had a smaller child, I'd be a prepper. And Lisa says, but doing a bit of fasting will do us good. Woody Black, yes, they will course blame Brexit. Yes, they will. And with Boris out the way, it'll be very, very easy for the Rejoin Alliance to become more popular. I think the Rejoin Alliance. Don't be surprised by the next general election if the Rejoin Alliance has become a major force in politics, and the major parties will be behind it. Alliance of Calgon. I have hundreds of litres of beer, so I'll be okay. That's the most important thing, Alliance, isn't it? Yeah. Trump, yes, they're for lights. They'll blame Trump or the Unveed, yes. Or Brexit, Trump, the Unveed. All the boogeymen. Elizabeth Clayton, hello, hi. Didn't know you were on. I'm gutted. Off to work soon. We'll watch you back. Elizabeth, you may not got the notification as well. It does happen, yeah. Della says, I love prepping. You know, I know people who do prepping just for fun. I do. I understand why it is a laugh. You could go out into the countryside with a tent, and you can catch things. You can hunt. You can forage. Oh, it is great fun. Yeah, I understand that. And for some people, it is just recreation. I don't like the idea behind it. Simply, I wouldn't be against doing it for fun. And David says prepping is prudence. Well, I don't want to focus on any situation that would lead me into the idea that defeat is inevitable. Because defeat is not inevitable, far from it. Well, Della, you recognise the need. That's cool, but you enjoy it. That's the main thing, yeah. I don't want to get down to... I just don't want to go down that road. But if you do, that's fine. That's fine. You do it all. Tony Phillips, hello, Tony. I hear those mosquito burgers are pretty tasty. Oh, really? Well, is Joe Biden eating them? Is Justine Castro eating them? Do you really think that Soy Boy Macron will be eating them? No, of course, no. They won't be. They'll be having steak and blue cheese and brandy and wine. It's like in V for Vendetta, like I told you. When Evie do you remember when V gives Evie breakfast? It's like something on toast. And she goes, oh, God, this is delicious. And he says, I nicked it from a government supply train. There you are, see. In the V for Vendetta world, all the proles are like eating the artificial slurry, which is intended just to keep them alive and fit in with the Agenda 21. But the elites of the party they're eating good food, and they will continue to eat good food, just like the pigs in Animal Farm. Therefore, lights got us. It's 4 a.m. where you are. Oh, right. I'd love to you all. Okay, I'm guessing you're somewhere in the Antipodes there. Therefore, our lights. Okay, before you go to bed, could you just knock on Steve Mumbling's door and wake him up for me? Man. Don't know what you guys think about gold, silver, crypto. I've got a bit of crypto, actually. Not much, but I've got a bit of crypto. Yeah, Macron is... Macrion. Maricon, says Claire, yeah. Oh, Macron's horrible. Oh, I can't wait for April. You know what's happening in April? I hope will happen in April. I'll cover it at the time. It's to do with France. So, food shortages. Reverend Simon Sideways, watch his video on food shortages. I think that's very... my mouth always gets dry when I'm doing this. Greg H says, yes, no carbon tax on super yachts. Exactly. Rules for thee, but not for me. And Boris has gone along with that, and what's more, they've used it against him. Anyway, so food shortages, I think, is the most likely replacement for the C word. Malia Grimm, hello. Happy Freaky, hello. It's Happy Freaky Saturday, isn't it? David says, serious question. What do you think is the C vaccine, and what is the purpose of the CV word? I can't answer that right now, David, but certainly not on YouTube. But Charles, are you actually trying to incur the wrath of mumbling? Yes, I am. Let him come on. Bring it on. Okay, another possibility, something related to climate change. Now, the only way they're going to pull that off, I think, is at some point in the next couple of months, there is a major freak weather, an extreme weather event. I'm talking about like a hurricane over Washington, D.C., or a part of the ice cap breaking off and raising the sea level by a foot, or something like that. Now, you may think that can't be done. It can be. It can be done artificially. Weather control can be done. Woody Black, yeah, I agree with you, but we'll come back to that. Diego Rivera's asking about Ukraine. We're doing that tomorrow night. Did you see the notice, Diego Rivera? There's a separate live stream tomorrow night all about Ukraine. Weather can be controlled. There's actually a very, very interesting... It's a very interesting mini documentary. It's about half an hour long, I think. It's called... Let me just find it. I want to show it to you, actually, if I can. Sky. What's it? Well, for God's sake, I can't find anything these days. Eyes in Outer Space, that's it. It's 26 minutes long. It's from 1959. It was made in 1959, and it's a sort of futuristic documentary, docudrama, about weather control. What happens is in this, you have like a weather control station, and a massive hurricane is heading towards the eastern seaboard of the United States. And using several methods, such as chemtrailing and things like what we today call chemtrails, and cloud seeding and things like that, they divert the hurricane away from the US so it can just burn itself out at sea. And as Legend Real says, precision pinpoint weather control. Yeah. Now, if they can divert a hurricane away using that method, they can divert it towards something as well. So weather control could be used as a terrible weapon of war. Now, what they could do is they could, for example, have a massive, maybe Category 3 hurricane hit and hit New York City with it. Which, as you'll know, guys, you probably already guessed, means, yeah, Jock of Ages, 9/11 style, yeah. Which, of course, means, which is what they did with Hurricane Erin, didn't they? They diverted a hurricane called Hurricane Erin. It's 1,000 miles across, Category 3 hurricane, heading towards New York City. And then it did I think it did a 196-degree turn and headed east. At the very moment that it was just after, I think, the Twin Towers went down. And as Dr. Judy Wood explains, that's not a coincidence. Now, they can do that. You see, they can use the methods, they can use the Hutchison effect for this. They could send a massive hurricane and hit New York City. I mean, if Hurricane Erin had hit New York City, it could have done more damage than 9/11. Could have killed more people. It was never reported on, as if somehow everyone knew it was just going to turn away and head out to sea again. How did they know that? What if they just let it keep coming? And it causes terrible disaster, like a freak weather event. A hurricane out of the normal areas where hurricanes occur. Or maybe it'll do it on Britain, like it happened in 87. There'll be another hurricane. Maybe several hurricanes at several times. Maybe massive global storms within the next couple of months. And then when the spring starts, they'll say, look, you guys didn't take climate change seriously. Well, now you have to. Or Vrillon Aura. Hello, Vrillon. Gulf Stream. What if the Gulf Stream... Yeah. Stopping the Gulf Stream, which would actually, if it did that, it would give the whole of Western Europe a subarctic climate. Yeah. Supposing the Gulf Stream stops and they say, right, sorry guys, I hope you enjoyed hope you enjoyed yourself. From now on, we're going to have 1 month growing seasons and 8 months winter, where the average temperature is going to be like -10. Because the Gulf Stream stopped. All of Western Europe is going to have a subarctic climate. It's basically going to be like southern Canada in Western Europe. You have to take climate change seriously now. Elizabeth says they need a ritual on 9/11, yeah. Why do I have to prove everything to do with 9/11? Okay. Now, so that will happen in the next couple of months because I don't see how they can push climate change any further because people, not everyone doubts the agenda the way like we do. Most of us do. No, not everyone realizes it's a big scam. Most people are indifferent to it. Diego Rivera says, "Is Oumuamua which Avi Loeb discovered, extraterrestrial technology?" I've read Avi Loeb's book, and yes, I think it is. Charles says, "Ben, you just went full tinfoil hat. Never go tinfoil hat." Charles, I went full tinfoil hat years ago. Didn't you notice? By the way, thanks for getting Agent Rin onto me again. I've just done another video with her on her channel. I'll have to ask her. Maybe be able to upload it to this one. And Claire says the 3 bad winters from 09 to 11 were probably caused by the Gulf oil disaster. Yeah. Disrupting the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is actually very delicate, and the Gulf Stream has stopped before. And in fact, they found shells on the seabed, fossilized shells, indicating there was a stop of the Gulf Stream a few 100,000 years ago, which lowered the temperatures significantly in Western Europe. And that could happen again, in which case there will be indeed a public outcry about climate change, in which case they can justify it. Another thing they could do, people have mentioned volcanoes. Several. What you said about volcanoes. Supposing they did detonate a massive, a 50 megaton nuke in the middle of a massive volcano like Tonga or like another really big volcano, and it did cause some huge landslide, like we talked about before. Again, that's another reason it'll cause global crisis. Oh, Mr. Grey Owl, thanks for. Oh, right, you've emailed me some more things. That's great. Someone's calling me on bloody Facebook. Just a second. I think I know who it is, actually. I think it's just the group I'm part of. Sorry, guys. I'll have to catch you later. I know who you are, Mr. Grey Owl. I know your emails. Thank you very much. So, that's how they would do it. Hello, Michelle Sovereign. How you doing? Yes, they live 23. Why did Dr. Judy Wood keep banging on about the hurricane offshore 9/11? That's why. You realise that in this case there was a connection between the 9/11 attacks and that hurricane. Yeah, it's Andrew Johnson has talked a lot about that, and you realise that the Hutchison effect therefore is connected to weather, possibly the energy of it. Maybe it's orgone or something connected to weather. We know from the work of Wilhelm Reich that orgone energy affects rainfall, for example. And Charles says, "Are you up for a stream with Terry Joyce? Two tinfoil." Yeah, I'll talk to Terry anytime. I think we probably have a lot of differences. She has a different outlook on a lot of things than I do. We'd probably be quite critical of each other, actually, if we ever had a debate. But, Charles, pick up the phone or you're in trouble. Oh, it's you, is it? It's one of your people. Ah, no, I'll if you want to come and knock on my door and kidnap me later, I'll be in. So, that's a specific problem, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Grayle. Much appreciated. Diego Vera. Was Uri Geller using energy weapons to bend spoons? No, he was. Geller is, Geller has just been. He's just. The CIA, basically, it was a news story that the CIA had confessed that Geller was one of theirs. Geller himself confessed in 2018 to being one of theirs. He confessed privately to the journalist John Ronson much earlier about being one of their people. I think he was used as a psychic spy. He was a remote viewer. Watch Third Eye Spies, brilliant documentary. Lisa has a yummy veggie stew with garlic, gorgeous. Oh, Lisa, that's great. Lisa, I don't know if you want to talk about it publicly, but if you're enjoying your food, that's fantastic. You can tell people if you want, but I know we discussed privately about food and yourself and your experience of eating. And Frank says a hurricane is a rotating magnetic field that can enable the Hutchison effect. Yeah. Claire's lost 10 pounds. Oh, Claire, I'm glad you're all right. Craig H. I can bend spoons with my butt, put it in my back pocket and sit down. Well, you know that James Randi claimed he could recreate all the tricks of Uri Geller. Do you remember my James Randi video? Diego Hutchison is about rabbits. Oh, dearie me. So what else could it be? Has anyone got any ideas what they might replace the C word with? All right, Lisa, I'm talking about your experience of your taste and smell. I wanted to just check. I didn't want to say anything. If you're sure, the taste, your sense of taste and smell. Yes, the food shortages, like I said, and then I think. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Thank you. I didn't want to drop you in it. But then I said, climate change they would have to have some kind of major natural disaster of a weather variety for it. Plague, yes, plague, virulent, or another disease. Is that a possibility? Yeah. Yes, there's been a case of Marburg in Africa. Yeah, well, do you know, Alex, that the Marburg virus, I don't know if you watched Dr. Len Horowitz's In Lies We Trust. Marburg basically is very similar to Ebola. It's a hemorrhagic fever. It's not quite all right, Lisa. I'm glad it's coming back. That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. Claire, I said climate change. Yeah, on a long-term level, they're doing climate change anyway. But I think to get everyone on board for a very, very sudden series of reforms to do with climate change, they would need, like I say, some freak weather event which shocks people. Or massive climatic shift. It could be the end of the Gulf Stream. That's possible. Which can be done. It can be done with control of ocean currents the way they control the air. They can control the path of air currents, high jet streams. They can do the same with the ocean currents. Literally, if you can control gravity, you can just use it to move anything anywhere. A blackout, yes. Electricity, yes. Power failures, yeah. There's many causes. I mean, Diego Rivera mentions EMP. That's electromagnetic pulse. There are weapons actually that can do that. The military are using them to, especially in this stage where everything needs computers. You can fire it at a warship or even an entire military base and knock it out completely. You could do the same for a power station, or those horrible, nasty Russians hacking. Yes, don't you know all Russians are computer hackers and dangerous pilots, and they're anti-gay, and they're poisoners. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow, about the anti-Russian propaganda going on. But how about that? How about power failures, massive failures on the electrical grid? There was a documentary. About that. So Virulent says they're doing gain-of-function experiments with Marburg in the USA. Oh, wasn't it gain-of-function experiments with what they were doing with the bloody C word at the Wuhan lab? Oh, Crafty's in London. Oh, right. Hey, Crafty, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Give us a thumbs up. All right, then. There you go. Jocovese, what's your thoughts on the escaped monkeys, Ben? Yeah, one of them has not come back. I said, where did that happen? Was that Northern Ireland? But one of them can't be found. Mr. Grail says, when I was at university, there was always one kid that sent all his money off and would have to live off peanut butter all term and would get scurvy. Well, yeah, I mean, some students, people think students are all rich, but a lot of them are quite poor, But where was those escaped monkeys? Where was it? I think it was Northern Ireland. A bunch of monkeys escaped from a circus or a zoo or something, and they've got most of them back. There's still one running loose. Do you think that will have some? Would you think that will have some Marburg thing on it? Yeah. Charles says the U.S. Navy is seriously considering going back to analog. Yeah. There is a massive drive now in various institutions to produce low tech backups. For example, some power stations are installing things like they call them mag amps, which are like really old-fashioned mechanical switches that they were used in very early computers. Just to do the basics in case there is an EMP attack, or the nasty old Russians hack. There's actually a news story about Russian cyber attacks. Hello, Jason Gavea. How are you? Welcome. There was a news story about Russian cyber attacks. Let me see if I can find it. You see, they bloody get blamed for whenever they've been blamed before. There's been cyber attacks before. U.S. businesses warn against UK warns businesses against possible Russian cyber attacks. That was just 1 hour ago. That was published. And there's others. UK. There's several others. Cyber attacks on defences. UK bolsters defences against cyber attacks as Russia threatens Ukraine. We'll be doing more about that tomorrow. There's loads of news stories now about potential Russian cyber attacks. And that cyber attacks have happened before and Russians have been blamed for them before. Supposing, Claire says the Russians ate my homework. Yeah. Yeah, do you know that this could kill two birds with one stone, couldn't it? Because you could have a massive shutdown of the national grid caused by a cyber attack, gigantic nationwide cyber attack, and at the same time, you'd be able to demonize Russia if there's a war. If the war, someone said earlier, maybe a war is on the agenda, and we'll be talking more about that tomorrow. But so I reckon, here we go. She has 100 monkeys crashed, one scratched somebody. Sounds like the plot of Planet of the Apes. All right, maybe it was the 100th monkey, Diego Rivera, which changes everything. Iron Man Spartan. Am I going to do any more street art videos? Well, I did one the other day. There was a scene in one of my videos. It was the Worldwide Freedom Day one, where I did mention some street art. But Claire says all this stuff about Russia is deliberate, not accidental. Correct. So there was actually a documentary. Frank Trigg says Russians are blamed for everything since they got rid of communism. Exactly, Frank. They weren't meant to. The plan from the Rockefeller Foundation, it was behind Mikhail Gorbachev, was to basically turn Russia into a state a little bit like China, which would be capitalist de facto but not de jure. Instead, they got a de jure end to the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was designed to be reformed. And so since then, Yeltsin got into power, then Putin. And basically, Russia is now a major hole in the dike for the New World Order. And I'll say more about that tomorrow. I wonder if shall I do the on Sunday night, shall I do the live stream about the Battle of Los Angeles? Maybe I'll do, because I don't want to see Sunday's better because people from you guys from across the Atlantic in North America, you can join me because normally if I do a live stream at 7 p.m. on a weekday, you bloody you Americans and Canadians and Mexicans, you're all asleep, aren't you? Or you're at work. It's the middle of the day. Yuri Bezmenov was right, Verlon. Yes, he was. In fact, his ideas don't actually originate from the Soviet Union. They originate from Western think tanks, such as the Fabian Society, and more recently, Common Purpose, the Tavistock Institute. EU is USSR 2.0. Yes, Claire, exactly. This is why they were so pissed off when Britain quit. Jason Gouveia, do you think the Russian... Can I answer that question? Jason, could you make a note of your comment and post it tomorrow on tomorrow's live stream? Because it's too off topic. But I do think, that Russia will be blamed if there is a massive shutdown of their thing. Charles says, Crafty and myself are fighting over you, Ben. Over you, Ben. He's my lovable buffoon. No, he's my lovable buffoon. I thought I was Steve's lovable buffoon. Steve Mumblings. Look, I can be all of your lovable buffoons, I promise you. Now, Diego Vera, I'm going to come on to that in a minute, because that is another possibility, which I'm going to come back to in a minute. Now, what's the other one on my list? Hang on, I just want to find that mockumentary. I'll tell you what's interesting about it. It stars Charlie Veitch. Yeah, here we are, Blackout. Documentary. Channel 4. Charlie Veitch is in it. Here it is. It's from 6 years ago, and this is... All right, here we go. Let me just show you a bit of it. Oh, no. It's display capture, that's it.
I just want to...
Yeah, this is a story of Britain's week without power, which hasn't happened yet, but it might be. See? See?
Working.
It's got £15.
Disaster. Siren,
God.
Yeah, see? Now that's worth watching. I'll post a link in chat. Let me just go back to there we are. Let me just post a link in chat there. There you go. It's an interesting documentary. Charlie Veitch is in it. You know, the guy who goes around. Well, I still watch his channel. He's changed a lot actually since he left the conspirasphere. But what's interesting about it is it's a fictional docudrama about what could happen if that happens, if it goes that way, you know. This is what you could expect, something like that. And I think that is another likely possibility along with food shortage and the climate catastrophe. I think probably the blackout is more likely than the climate catastrophe. It's less effort, it's less weird, it's less sort of out there. It's probably something that people are more likely to believe and to go along with. Now, there is one more possibility I want to bring up, and several of you have already mentioned it. And I'm going to say this with a completely straight face. Will they announce that there are evil aliens? Will we have the last card? The last card. I mean, if they did that, it would literally be a double or quit situation. It would literally be a coin toss for the entire New World Order. Because if that didn't work, I can't see how they could spin their way out of it. The fake alien invasion can be carried out by... well, I've done an entire video on this. It was actually a reply to Steve Mumbling. But it could be done surprisingly easier, actually. Surprisingly easy, actually. Frank Trigg says, do you know that Gaia TV is owned by Vanguard? Vanguard owns 99.96% of all global assets and shares. I didn't know. I didn't. Someone else is calling me on Skype. Will you bugger off? So, not on Skype, on... All right, I'm just going to leave him a message. Hang on. Here we go. I'm sorry. I should say, just doing live stream. This is just a group of people I talk to regularly. Just doing live stream. Maybe join you later. There we go. Okay, guys. So to do it, I mean, they could simply say, as Woody Black says, fake alien invasion. It's, as I said, I'm not going to discount it. If they really were up against the wall, I mean, because they're not going to give up. They're not going to go quietly away from their New World Order. This is the great work of ages. They've been working on it in one way or another since the fall of Atlantis. So we're talking about 10,000 years. Jason, maybe C word with the aliens just... Oh my goodness me, wouldn't that be like War of the Worlds? You know, in War of the Worlds, there's this Deus Ex Machina at the end. It's a very bad... Oh, child, pick up now. No. There's this awful Deus Ex Machina at the end of War of the Worlds. It's probably not quite as bad as the one in Independence Day, actually. The one in Independence Day is even worse. But this Deus Ex Machina involves... You think the aliens have won, then suddenly you realise they're susceptible to Earth germs. Wouldn't it be ironic if the only thing that stops the aliens is the C-word virus? Oh, my God. You see... To do it would be quite simple. Firstly, I don't know anything about Gaia TV, except I like watching Gaia TV. I watched some of their free samples, and I do like it. So, I mean, if it's something to do with some shill stuff or all that other stuff, I've got into an argument with all right. I'll just, as an aside, I've got into a massive argument with people over Linda Moulton Howe over the last few days, and I've written an article on... I'll tell you what, guys, just go and read this. I'm quite pleased with this article, so I'll just show it to you. It's this one here. It's on her Panamo Voice, and it's that one. Okay, guys, so I'll just post a link in the chat. That's this one. It's called Tribunal Update Linda Moulton Howe Interview. But I've got into massive arguments with people about this. Not that I mind getting into arguments with people. You know, I'm not the kind of person who will bite my tongue to keep the peace. There's a link to it. But you know, it's this whole thing about oh my God, is there some is something going on? You know, are there agents and shells and things like that? You know, that's the kind of thing it's all about. Diego Ferrer, is it your girlfriend? I don't have a girlfriend. No, I don't. I haven't really tried to find one either, particularly. I've not tried very hard to find one. But anyway, the alien invasion. And Charles says that they would be horrific. Aliens have 56 noses. They're very large. We will be slimed to death without a shot being fired. It's possible, they may be able to sell this to us without any of the sort of pyrotechnics and Project Bluebeam and stuff like that they go on about. There's this guy called Serge. What's his bloody name? Serge Monast. Serge Monast. That's what I remembered. Serge Monast. He's a Canadian bloke who he wrote a book, or he wrote several books about this, the technology they have to create fake images in the sky. It may not need to be anything as extreme as that. You may not need to get out the TR-3Bs and dress them up as aliens. If you read, as you know, if you read the Roswell trilogy, this actually happens in that story. So read the Roswell trilogy now. Available at all good bookshops. Luke Bryers, you did well in Oxford. Thanks, Luke. Thank you very much. They may not even need to do something like that. They may simply need to put it in the media that there are evil aliens out there. The Space Force has got it in hand. But we need to have more international cooperation to tackle the alien threat. We need a reduction of personal freedoms and individual liberties. Temporarily, of course. Thanks, Charles. Yeah, Serge Monast, that's him. Yeah, I remembered. It just got into my head just in case. He died, actually, very suddenly of a heart attack in a jail in Quebec. And people say it's a little bit suspicious. And Frank Trigg says, Werner von Braun warned of the last card played by the oligarchs to take control of us. Yeah. Hello, TK. The 2001 Disclosure Project press conference was very interesting. But the most interesting speaker was definitely Carol Rosin, warning us that this might happen. Charles says Bluebeam was stolen from an unused Gene Roddenberry script called The God Thing. Oh, really? So was it supposed to be in Star Trek, and then Serge Monast decided to use it? As I said, I'm always open to possibilities that things are wrong or they're fake. I do accept that happens. Stop the New World Order, says TK. Yeah, damn right. Oh, it's Roger. It's Roger. Yeah, of course. So is that a possibility? That they might go for the last card this year? I think it's one of the it's one of the less likely things they do. I think if maybe the next one doesn't work, like if the food shortage, climate change, stroke, blackout, power grid failure doesn't work, then I think that there's not much. What's left on their list to cross off? Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, the film Signs. Aliens defeated by water. Yeah, there's no chance of the aliens come to the UK. Yeah, it wasn't very realistic, was it, Diego Rivera? I mean, how do the aliens can't cope with water, and they want to land on the Earth? How do they deal with humidity? What do they do if it rains? It'd be like us being on Venus, with all the acid. Crab people, says Woody Black. Let's use our imagination. Should we give them ideas? What could they try next? I'll tell you what, I just want to go through some news stories with you guys. This is interesting. How many of you, just as a side, right, because this how many of you have seen people still wearing masks? Any of you? Right, Charles. Thanks for letting me know about the Bluebeam thing. However, there's other sources for the Bluebeam stuff anyway. It's not just Monast. But how many of you have you seen people still wearing masks? I went to do some grocery shopping today. I mean, I found like probably about 20% of people still wearing the damn things. Yeah. Legend Real says Richard D. Hall had a program with a member of a NATO crash retrieval team. He spoke of yes. Legend, that's very good. It's called The Human Mutilations in NATO. It's a documentary on Rich Planet. And as Richard actually gets hold of this guy that Tony Dodd spoke about, I've got Tony Dodd's book actually. It's quite hard to get hold of, but I did manage to get hold of a copy. And he had a mate who said he was a member of the Special Forces, dealt with alien crash retrievals. And Richard managed to track this guy down and interviewed him. Very, very interesting indeed. David says 15% people still wearing them. Yeah, that's 25 in Northumberland, says Michelle. That's good. It's fewer now. It's fewer. But, you know, why? Oh, Frank says 50%. Oh, dear. You must be living in a really conformist part of the world, Frank. You really must. You know, what? You know, they're not even, it's not even law anymore. I mean, I would just say to hell with it anyway, you know. I mean, I saw lots of people just ignoring it anyway, but yeah. Charles said it was a TV script, the whole thing about Project Bluebeam. We'll come on to that another time, Charles, because there are other sources. Charles says Richard D. Hall is his own Yes, the ultimate in shill hunting, the ultimate question you have to ask yourself in shill hunting is you look in the mirror and say, am I one? The thing is, being a shill is shillhood is a very secretive organisation, right? It's a very secretive thing. If you were a shill, you wouldn't know it. That's like the old wokeists, you know, in universities, and you go to these diversity classes. Well, thank God I've never been to one because I got out of education as soon as I could. But people who've gone through this nightmare of higher education, they say they got these white people in university, and they're made to sit on a table, and they say, "I'm not racist," and the teacher says, "Maybe you are racist, but you don't know it." Ugh. Oh, Frank says, I live a few miles off the Isle of Sheeple land. So that's Essex. Right, yeah. Fucking hell, where's my dream topping? 10% Canterbury. All right, see, I'm going to show you, let me show you this news story. This is good. Let me just go to display capture. This made me laugh. Right. Shoppers and tube passengers defy calls to keep masks on after most COVID curbs dropped in England. Yeah. This is a good picture. There's a lady here on the Underground, London Underground. She's not got a mask on. And there's see what's reflected on the opposite seat. And I think this is the photographer. Someone's photographing her. You know, obviously this is like a bloody COVID Karen photographing the one defying the ban. And I bet you she's going to go and report her to Sad Git Khan, isn't she? The mayor of London, it's only him, it's only that twat who's keeping this whole thing going on the London Underground. But look, you've got this COVID Karen here. Large numbers of commuters at Liverpool Street Station chose not to put them on. When I went on the tube, I was pleased because I saw lots of people, even when Khan was like trying to dictate it. Again, this was not in line with national law either. Yeah, and this is you see, still some people putting them on, but you see, a lot of people are not. Well, there's one guy not wearing them. That's it. So a lady on a bus not wearing them. Good. Let me just find that. Video. Hang on a sec. I was watching it earlier. It's Ramsey Paul. This might get the bloody chat. This might get this live stream stopped, or I'm going to risk it. Hang on. Here we go. I'll just find the right place in it. But he's made this hilarious video. Oh, come on. This page is... Oh, come on. No, I don't want to upload a new video. I want to get... Sorry, guys. Won't be a sec. I just so want to show you this video because it's so funny. I was watching it earlier on. Where is it? Oh, scroll down. Oh, no. Let me just go into my history. Ramsey Paul. Here we go. 20... This is it. Look, just look at let me just show you the. Where's the? Here, look at the. look at the avatar. Let me just show you the actual bit. I'll just put the sound down and I'll just show you the actual bit. Am I still on screen cap? Yes, I am. Good. That's the avatar. That's the thumbnail. Sorry, the thumbnail for the thing. Here we go. It's just he's so funny as well. This guy, he's as based as fuck, but he's like really funny. He's got a real sense of humour. He's quite. Here we go. Hang on. Oh, let me just pause. Put the sound on. This doesn't last long, so probably will be a
So
problem.
let's take a look at this and analyze it.
Get out.
Get out.
Yo, stop.
Get out. Get out.
What you guys doing? Get out.
Get out.
What you guys doing?
What's wrong with you? Get out. Don't touch me.
Don't you have
Do
kids?
not touch me.
Get out.
All right,
Look at those faces. Oh, I think you've seen it. You know, you get the message. That you get the point, don't you? Absolutely insane harpies going. Ah! Ah! Basically what happens is this guy walks into a lift and there's these two women in there and he's not masked and they're masked and they just go. They completely lose their shit. You saw that too, Lisa. Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, there's other people doing it as well. There's like bloody It's funny, but maybe you shouldn't. Hello, Je suis Tableau. Je suis Tadpole. How are you? There's how are you? I'm just going up a little bit because just don't miss any comments. Welsh Ripper, greetings. Dr. Vernon Coleman is on, is he? All right, am I? That's it. Okay, I will on brand YouTube. Will do. Yeah, Lisa, I feel sorry for anyone who's fearful like that. I do. It's just I can't help laughing at them. But it's just, it is sad too to think that people can be driven into a frenzy like that. And there are, unfortunately, I always think to myself, I always try to put myself in other people's shoes and think, well, look, I can see through this. Surely other people aren't going to be totally brainwashed by it. They may sort of like shrug their shoulders and sort of say, well, I'm just going to act like it's normal, But, the thing about it is, like, they go, but some people really do believe all this. They literally believe all this. Woody says something interesting as well. He mentions, and Ramsey actually talks about this. They start shouting Black Lives Matter at him. And it's a weird thing because the guy himself, the guy without a mask, is a black man. And it's almost like there's two different programming streams clashing within their central processing unit. There's something clashing inside here. There's something in here going. One program is saying this, and then another program is saying that. Yeah, he was black and de-escalated. Yeah, Je suis Tadpole. In the end, this sort of like did calm them down a bit. But it wasn't because they were naturally calming down. It's because the two different pieces of propaganda that were messing with their brain hit at the same time, and there was a massive just shutdown inside their heads. If it hadn't been for that, they'd have carried on Karening him all the way up to the 15th floor. Charles says I've got to shake the tin foil out of my ears. The premise of the blue bean fake alien invasion. Yeah. Charles, I refer you to the video I made in reply to Steve mumbling about the fake alien invasion. Maybe we'll come on to that when I do my Los Angeles Battle of Los Angeles live stream, which I'll probably do on Sunday actually because weekends are good times for doing this. I would have done it last weekend, but I didn't. I forgot it was the anniversary, and also I was doing other things. I was at that. Of course, I was at the bloody event in Oxford, wasn't I? Yeah, but there's another one, which is I don't know if I can find it actually. I'll see if I can find it. It may not be on YouTube or BitChute, but I'll just see if I can find it now. I just googled woman on an airplane goes nuts. Here we go. This is it. Now, this is I won't. It's actually 4 minutes long. I won't play all of it. But let me just show you a little bit. It's Karen assaults elderly man for eating on a plane. Ads. Let me get the ads out of the way. Hang on. To give you a bit of background, she's not actually attacking him for eating. Oh, more bloody ads.
Right, so
Shut up. Hang on. Sorry, it's not an ad. It's actually a part of the whole thing. I want to get onto the bit where she starts Karening him. Here we go.
In this case right here. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and check it out.
Yes, you are. Yeah, put your fucking mask on. Who invited you to come
See that, guys?
drink your ass up? Don't you dare talk to me like that. You're standing in someone.
All right, you've seen enough. It gets worse and worse and worse. What happens is it really escalates. Now you could hear in the background noise. In the background, you could hear the noise of the plane's engines. The plane is in flight. She gets up and she starts attacking him. It's not because he's eating. What she objects to is he's not wearing a mask on the plane. And it gets worse. Now, what happens in the end is the stewards and they're helped by some of the other passengers, but they have to physically restrain her. And Woody Black says people have lost their minds over this nonsense. Yeah, it's a fact. We just have to accept that some people literally do believe all this shit. They literally believe it. They literally think it's all true. Everything you hear from the government and the media is true. And then when they say, "Oh, there's another scariant that's just broken out," they go, "Ah!" They don't stop and think, "Oh, well, what another one? When's this going to end? How long? Things." They literally just react. And that woman was reacting. She was not a little girl. I mean, she's got to be like 40, in her 40s. But she was completely and totally mass psychosis hypnosis. Lisa, yes. And that's actually dangerous. When passengers on a plane in flight start kicking off, that's actually dangerous. The stewardesses and the stewards, you think they're just like there to serve you drinks. They're not. They actually respond to emergency situations. They're trained to deal with all kinds of things, from fires to crashes to terrorists and everything. And they will, if you start kicking off in the cabin, they will handcuff you to your seat. And what's more, if too many people start doing it, I mean, pilots have actually carried out emergency landings because of people kicking off because of disorder among the passengers. If a riot, riots have broken out on board planes, and the pilot has carried out an emergency landing. She was just literally just yelling at this old guy. A guy's got to be 20 or 30 years older than herself. She starts swearing and shouting. They really believe it. They bloody believe it all. All right, guys, I'm just going to go through just go through this news story as well. That's enough of that. I've done the GB News one. And what's this one? Oh, hang on. Come on, guys. Here we go. Right. We'll just go through this news story now because this is quite amusing. So here we go. What are the new COVID rules? Work from home guidance has been dropped in England. So otherwise, things have gone back to what they call Plan A. Face masks no longer compulsory. Travel rules being relaxed. What's COVID test? Oh, right. Some. It's all basically changing. Is self-isolation going to be scrapped? In Scotland, now this is the bad news. Scotland, thanks to Big Fish Sturgeon and her cronies, her Europhile cronies, they're not actually getting rid of everything like we are. They just said adults participating in organised activities with under 5s no longer need a mask. Oh, thank goodness for that. Thank you very much. I prostrate myself at your generosity for returning my civil rights to me. Face covering exemptions requiring 2 metre physical distance have been reduced to 1 metre. Oh, God. So now you can hug each other at arm's length. Nightclubs can open. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, but do you need the bloody pass to get in? From what oh, here we go. Oh, dear. The answer to my question is here. A C-word certification scheme is in place for some venues, including nightclubs, meaning people must provide proof of their V-word status or recent negative test. Answers my question. From what I've heard, a lot of venues in Scotland are ignoring all this. I've spoken to people in Scotland who are saying, I went down to my local, bopping bar and they just let me in. So what's happening in Wales? What is Longshanks doing? A gradual easing of COVID restrictions is underway. There are no longer limits on numbers of outdoor events. Nightclubs can open. All right, Sufon, though, is still less, because I think that the Sufon guys understand that there's some inertia with this, which is why they are basically they've postponed the next Swansea UFO Network meeting to next month. That's where I'll be speaking, by the way, on the 3rd of March. I'll be speaking at Sufon. Gathering in pubs and restaurants are no longer limited to 6 people. Work from home, etc. Businesses no longer need to ensure 6-foot social distancing. But guess what? The NHS C-word pass is still needed for entry into cinemas, theatres and concert halls. Compulsory face coverings in schools and public transport. No, damn it. Schools, they're doing it to bloody kids. Listen to this. Secondary school pupils are asked to test for the C-word 3 times a week. Bastards. Let's not forget that, Mark Drakeford has come up on her Panmo TV before, hasn't he? On the Sarah Everard issue. He was the one who said white men should be placed under a curfew. Yeah. What are the rules in Northern Ireland? Rules on table service in hospitality businesses and the rule of 6 have ended. Guidance of no more than 3 households meeting at home has been removed. Nightclubs can open and indoor standing events are allowed. Proof of C-word status is no longer required to enter places. Great. It remains for places for it does remain for nightclubs, indoor, unseated and partially seated events of 500 people or more. So you better get counting, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on, stop. Come back. 1, 2, 3. No more than 30 people can meet in a home. Well, most people in Northern Ireland, so there's no room for that anyway. They have small houses there. Face coverings still compulsory in shops and indoor seated events. Post-primary pupils must wear a face covering inside school buildings. What's this doing to the kids? Oh, dearie me. Disgusting. Anyway, guys, it's, let's go back up to... Yeah, Claire says cognitive dissonance. That's over that's those women in the lift, yeah. Body, will I be speaking in London anytime soon? If I'm invited to, yes. Yes, I will. So it's not over yet by any means. Welsh Ripper, just ride the storm out. We're going to have to keep a very Welsh Ripper. We're going to have to keep a very very cool heads on our shoulders. I actually say that in my article about Linda Moulton Howe. I say, we're going to go through a difficult phase, and indeed, the behaviour of some people in the alternative community, unfortunately, supports that the facts. A lot of people in the alternative community are not as enlightened as they would have us believe. God bless Jimmy Cranky. Oh God, she's horrible. And Lisa says Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Yeah, look that up. Check out Lisa's podcasts on her Panmo Radio. Yeah, and Claire makes the point that, only surgeons need masks. Rock Jam, they should be lifting the V words. Yeah, well, the V words are there to be given to everyone, aren't they? Yeah. And we got another Russian person. It's Alisa. Hello, Alisa. Alicia Sherbakova. Yeah, I can read Russian, you see, because I'm learning it. Gdzej mój velosiped? Здравствуйте. I'm learning Russian, Alisa, because I might have to come and live in your country one day. It may be the only place in the world it'll be safe for me to live. Ah, yeah. Charles says, Big Fish. I used to write scripts for Big Fish games. All right. Well, perhaps Charles, seeing as you've got your mind powers, right, could you write some scripts for Nicola Sturgeon? Like, I'm releasing everyone from all the impositions I've put you on, and I'm going to make sure Scotland never joins the European Union. Could you do that? Very long. Drakeford is a fucking commie gimp. Yes, he is. And Claire, it's interesting, Claire says, I've got a friend in care work who's under threat of being sacked for not being V-worded. But the hearing has been delayed. Are they making a strategic withdrawal? Yes, Claire. I think they might be. And you know what? If it's true, it's brilliant, because it's because of people like your friend who's standing up to them. I'm really impressed, actually, by people within acute and long-term residential health care have resisted. I'm so impressed. And they've done it without the bloody union's impetus either. The union has been forced to follow them, not the other way round. I mean, the left wing's position on the coronavirus is incredible. Where are we now? Let's go through your. Lisa says, you think the Russian people are trolls? Oh, right. Maybe. Jock of Ages, it's easy to learn Russian. I use Duolingo. I'm on stage 3 already. It's worth doing. I mean, if you are going to apply for political asylum, as I might have to at some point, if you know the language, I think you'll be in good stead. Oh, Charles Sturgeon doesn't have a mind to work on. Exactly. The left wing position on the C word is unbelievable. It's just basically, if we go there, it's just literally things like this. Warning over lack of vaccines for poorer countries. Yeah. So there we are. It's they literally say, there's just not enough. There's not enough V words to go round, especially in the poor countries, which the evil white patriarchy oppresses. If it wasn't for the evil white patriarchy, all of Africa would be V-worded by now. Well, luckily, whatever the cause is, they look good for them. Lucky for them, they're not. What's this here? Oh, my goodness me. Oh, let me just show you this. This is hilarious. Omicron's fall has slowed. Should we worry? Oh, my God. The fall is still there. It's still going on. But, oh, my goodness, it's slowed down. It's slowed down. Should we worry? Of course. It's a rhetorical question for the bloody mainstream media, isn't it? It's a rhetorical question. Of course we should. We always have to worry. We always have to worry. They cannot leave us in peace. They can't leave us alone. There always has to be some kind of crisis. And if one won't work, they just switch to another. Let's just go through this. Hang on. I've not actually read this article yet, so I'll just see. C-word cases have been falling in the UK, but the decline has now come to a halt. Oh my God! No, it's still going down a little bit. They're not saying. You see, it's been dropping like this, and they're saying they never reported on it dropping. They're reporting now because it's like stagnated. But look, the blue line is an aggregate. Look at the actual figures. You get one. It's going up like that, down like that, up like that, down like that. So this is for bloody. This is January. Did you see? Only in the last couple of. I'd say the last week it's gone up and down and up and down. The blue line is the aggregate. It's not stagnated. It's just going through like a little dip and a rise. It's currently going down. In many ways, this was the levelling off to be expected. Two basic things: the amount of immunity and how people mix. Oh goodness me! The rapid rollout of boosters. Oh goodness me! You got to blame the. Excuse me. Oh, see, look. Weekly cases per 100,000. Cases rising in younger age groups. Oh my goodness me! You know why? Because they're testing them in schools. That's why. Oh right, this is right at the bottom. You got to look how far you got to scroll down. You've got to scroll all the way down. Most people only read like the headline and the first couple of paragraphs on a news story. Scroll down and you see here, fewer C-word cases are resulting in death. Look how it's dropped. It's because the moronic variant is harmless. That's why. Oh, but look, this is other countries here. See, France is another one. Isn't withdrew thing that you see. But hang on, Netherlands is going up, and it's just reduced its. You see, Netherlands has just reduced its restrictions. What about France? France is high there, but France has a huge population. Netherlands has a smaller population. It's dropping in Italy and Spain. Well, that's enough of that shit. So that was pure propaganda. What you just saw was pure and unadulterated propaganda. It's falling. The decline in cases is falling. Well, how come they never reported on the decline in the first place? They didn't report on the fact that the cases were going down. By the way, I've actually got record on as well as stream. So if for any reason this live stream disappears, I will have a copy of it and I will upload it to AltTech. So even if this live stream disappears, I will have a copy. Diego Rivera says a financial crash could be the next PSYOP. Yeah, there could be, although a financial crash will be the result of any of the of any of the scenarios I outlined in this live stream. A financial crash will be the effect of that. In fact, you could just imagine, aliens appearing in the sky. What will that? You can imagine what that will do to airline shares. For example. Lisa, yes, it's manufactured bullshit. Exactly. Vrillon, trust the science, Ben. The science. Trust the science. Trust the science. I mean, this is what the skeptics talk all this crap. I mean, I did this in my skeptic talk. They really believe that scientists they just draw these perfect circles wherever they go. Then it's absolute nonsense. Scientists are influenced by political and economic forces just like everyone else. Charles, Ben went up and down. Oh, I'm not going to read that out. Welsh Ripper, send all the ill to the north of the wall. Job done. Yes, the Romans built that wall for a reason, because in 2,000 years' time, we were going to need it to put all the evil undesirables. What they have done, though, is they're building those mega prisons, aren't they? The ones with nice views that don't have bars on the window. Why is that? Internment. I mean, what they're going to do, this is where they have to put naughty people like us. Nihilist Lives Matter. What did I miss? Quite a lot, mate. So didn't you get the? You're another one who didn't get the notification. Michelle says Public Health UK data shows that jabs have negative. All right, V words have negative efficacy. You're more likely to get the C word if you've had the V word. Well, yeah. I mean, they don't care. I mean, they are literally contradicting themselves in their own reports. Claire, yes, science is just a bunch of reductionist, atheist, materialist nonsense. It's pseudoscience, Claire, isn't it? Yeah. As I've said in my skeptic talk, yeah. Araminta says, do you mind me asking, Ben, what is the luminous green liquid you drink? Is it alien blood? It's dragon juice, Araminta. It's actually, I think it's more kind of like, it is kind of slightly green. I think it's more orange. User one, can we have a look at your computer setup? It's very boring. It's just a desktop and monitor and that. It's nothing to write home about. I do have a laptop now, though, which I used when I go away, which is not very often. Is there anything else anyone wants to add? Because I've been going for nearly 2 hours. And so, David Schultz, hello. Guess who's living through the biggest psychological operation in the history of mankind? Let me think for a moment. Yeah. So anybody else, does anyone want to add anything? Because if not, I'll call it a night now, because there's going to be another live stream tomorrow. I'll have a different subject. And I think I'll do one on Sunday as well. Because why not? What else am I doing Sunday? Nothing. Well, why not? Why don't I do the live stream Sunday about the Los Angeles thing, and then that means that people in the Americas can join in. I've heard about Mothershipton. Yes, I have. Yeah. You're welcome, Lisa. You're welcome. Body technician, thank you for joining us live. I appreciate that. And thank you very much, Body. Yeah, it's good to have you all here. Thanks, Lisa, for joining us. And you haven't had to use your spanner tonight. Everyone's been good. Villon says, I'm going to my bed with a warm pussy soon called Ellen. Right, I see. But anyway, thank you, Jock of Aegis. Good night. Thank you very much. Yeah. Legend, they're going to pull the bodies on the streets in the UK. It's going to be like Soylent Green, yeah. Night, David. David, I'm on tomorrow night as well. I'll see you on Sunday, but check out the notice, David. I'm on tomorrow night, 7 p.m. GMT. TK, what time are you on till then? I'm going to finish in a minute, TK. Sorry, I've been going nearly 2 hours, and I've got another one tomorrow. But thanks, Araminta, you're very welcome. See you, Jason. See you tomorrow night. Use one. Come back tomorrow night. David, I'm going to do one Sunday, but also tomorrow night. I'll put up the notice, actually, probably just before the... I'll just put up the notice maybe tomorrow sometime. But night, Lisa, for the Los Angeles one. I want to get that done because we're past the anniversary as well. Alliance of Calgon, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Be there or be an Illuminati dupe. See you, Bernie. Take care. Ending the stream now.